So I have liked the Transformers films for the most part. I can at least say I've enjoyed the first three Michael Bay films, even though the second one feels very outdated in terms of humor. I'll even be the one to say that I believe that Megan Fox helped carry the first two films with Bumblebee and Optimus Prime. So going into this film, not having seen Bumblebee, which I know it's an error I plan to correct soon, and I'm still feeling burnt by the last night going into this film. But I could not believe how much fun I had watching this. This is the kind of blockbuster I used to see in the 2000s. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to For the Agenda. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Huang, and on this channel, I essentially watch mainstream content and let you know if it's worth your time because your time is valuable and no one should tell you otherwise. So, today I'm going to be talking about Paramount's newest film, the newest revival of the Transformers series, Transformers Rise of the Beast. So, I'm just going to get right into this review. I had a blast with this film. This was so much fun. I really enjoyed myself, and there's a lot that went to my enjoyment, but I got to see this film and I was excited to watch this. I think my expectations were just at the right amount of I want to see a Transformers film succeed, but that last one I saw made it feel like maybe it wasn't possible anymore. But I'm glad they were exceeded. I did have a really good time with this film, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, the casting here, oh my God, this is such a great cast, and I wish that they highlighted this a little bit more in the publicity department. And here's why. The voice cast is really great. When I looked up the list of actors and actresses on Letterboxd after this film, I was like, they were in this? How did I not know this? Even seeing the credits, I still couldn't believe that they were in the film. It it's mind-boggling. I mean, for example, Michelle Yeoh is Air Razor in this film. She was so good. I liked her storyline. I mean, she always delivers. She is an Oscar winner. And yeah, what can I say? She always delivers. And here, this is no exception. Coleman Domingo is in this? Yes, Coleman Domingo is in this film. I didn't even know that. And I am a fan of Coleman Domingo's work. And when I found out he was in this, I was like, this kind of makes a little bit more sense. I couldn't tell the voice, but when I saw it was Coleman Domingo, I'm like, that is great voice acting. How did I not realize it was Coleman Domingo? But Coleman did such a good job. And I didn't even know Michaela J. Rodriguez from Pose and Apple TV's Looped was in this until the end credits. But shout out to her because she turned it as well. Again, this has a really great voice cast that I wish they would have played up more in the advertisement for this film, but I think they were great. The voice cast, again, is really great. Even Pete Davidson, who I know a lot of people have, you know, mixed relationship with. Some people either like him or they don't like him. But here, I mean, there's no way you're not going to recognize it's Pete Davidson. But I thought his character Mirage was actually great. Mirage, he was a fun character. Pete Davidson, he was really good. He does a really great job with the humor here. Obviously, Bumblebee is still superior, but Pete Davidson actually did a really good job with this character, and he meshed very well with Anthony Ramos's character. I felt like it was a really good pairing. And obviously, seeing Bumblebee and Optimus Prime is great. I love Bumblebee. Again, I'm still shocked I haven't seen Bumblebee's film, but I will. However, in my defense, that technically means if you're in the same boat I am and haven't seen the Bumblebee film, which we're in this together, we'll fix that. But that technically means you can still watch this film and enjoy it. So that's technically a point for us. Now, when it comes to on-screen talent, Anthony Ramos and Dominic Fishback, they were absolutely excellent as the leads. I really liked Anthony Ramos's character here quite a bit, and I think he does a really good job. Dominic Fishback, in my opinion, steals the show. I loved her character, and they're an entertaining and commanding duo. I thought she was absolutely delightful throughout. They were both so funny and so cool during the adventure and the action moments. And in Fishback's case, she delivers tension and chase scenes really well, especially in one particular scene in a museum. I thought it was great. It gave me a little bit of a Jurassic Park vibe, but that also made me think if she can deliver that tension, I'd love to see her in a Scream film at one point or just a really great slasher film. I think she'd be great there. But even then, I would gladly watch another film with them as the leads. I think they're a really great duo, and they do such a good job here. Now, the designs of the Autobots, Maximals, and Terracons, they're actually really great. I really enjoyed them. I think the VFX team does a really great job bringing them to life. They looked cool and their transformations were great. Even though I personally would have liked to have seen them fight and transform just a little bit more, just a little bit more. I thought the action scenes here were fun and very in your face, felt very much like a 2 hour Saturday morning cartoon, which I enjoyed. However, I will say the film needed a little more action, especially in between the second and the third act for me. It would have made the film stronger, in my opinion. But I also really liked the emotional stakes here quite a bit. They made you care about the characters and the situation at hand, which is great. And I think by around the fourth or fifth Michael Bay film, I stopped caring about what was going on. So I'm glad to see them bring that back effectively here. I thought the story here, while not perfect, it was easy to follow, and I'm glad it didn't complicate itself, which has happened in these films before. Again, the fourth and the fifth film. And one of my main criticism with this film is for a film that's supposed to introduce the Maximals, you don't see them a lot. They're there, but they could have been used more, which is ironic, making this statement since people have been saying they want movies to be under 2 hours again, but if they gave this film like 15 to 20 more minutes to like really cook and add to the final battle and add a couple of things throughout to just make it a little more exciting and spend a little more time with the Maximals, I think it would have been actually a much stronger and better movie. I think the cinematography here was pretty good, especially in Peru. Felt nice to actually be able to see the action clearly, regardless of how in your face it was. But that's also kind of the point. You have these huge alien robots trying to destroy each other. And if you want to be entertained, you kind of need to be able to see what is happening and clearly. I think director Stephen Caple Jr. has leveled up in a big way here. He directed Creed 2, which I've been told is a really good film. I know I'm behind on movies. I'm very behind on movies. But I gotta say, here, I tip my hat off to him because being able to pull off this VFX heavy production on what I believe is his first big attempt dealing with visual effects set pieces like this is quite impressive. That's not easy to get right the first time around unless you really know what you're doing and you enjoy the process. And that's something that's actually kind of noticeable here. Michael Bay is one of the few exceptions to that rule because that first Transformers movie, it's amazing. I love it so much. It holds up visually and it strikes a core memory for me watching it in a theater and really enjoying myself. I hope that there is a sequel to this film and that Stephen Caple Jr. comes back to direct it because I have a good feeling he'd knock the sequel out of the park. I think he's going to get a couple of notes here for this film and he's going to take those notes and he's going to apply it to the second film and he's going to knock it out of the park. So I really hope there is a sequel. And I also gotta say, I really enjoyed the 90s setting and soundtrack. There's not an exact justification as to why this film needs to be in the 90s. You could argue it's because it's a sequel to Bumblebee, but I personally didn't mind that it was kind of a period piece. And one of the main reasons for that is the soundtrack. The soundtrack provides great energy, and a soundtrack is quite important to a film, not only to help audiences know what period they're in, not only to give them great songs to add to their Spotify or Apple Music playlists after the film, or mixtapes in this case, but a soundtrack can essentially make sure your audience is having fun with a movie or at least connecting with it. And here, when the songs came on in my screening, my crowd was very much into it and it brought a couple of them back and took them by surprise. And I think that's great to have in a film like this. Those surprises of, oh, I didn't expect this to happen in a Transformers film. I like where this is going. I think those moments are great. What I also like about this film is that it has a lot more heart than I was expecting, which is great. The humor, it was mostly great. There were some hits and misses here, and I laughed quite a bit, but I really liked the emotional beats, like I said earlier. I think the moments with Anthony Ramos's brother and what his character is trying to do to help him out with what his little brother is going through, I think that was actually really touching to see. And it's one of the main reasons as to why you root for Anthony Ramos's character. And they have this really cool code name for each other, which I didn't recognize it until after the film, but they called each other Sonic and Tails, and that's a Paramount film. So I gotta say that's actually quite genius. Of course, it's a Sega brand, but the movies are in Paramount, and this film is from Paramount. It's actually quite genius. I'm going to give them that. It was quite smart on their end. I think this film is going to be great for fans to watch. I'd even say that general audiences will enjoy this film in theaters. And if you're hesitant about watching this film, if you're in a theater with comfortable seats and a really good screen, I think it'll be a pure popcorn summer blockbuster that you go enjoy because it's hot out and maybe you've already caught up on some films and you want to just turn off your brain and enjoy a film in air conditioner. I think that's going to be one of the best ways for those who are hesitant to view this film. And if you can get it at a matinee, you might even enjoy it more. That's only if you're hesitant. I think fans of the franchise, again, are going to really enjoy it. But this film, we're going to save Bumblebee from this narrative, but I felt this film made the franchise fun again. And I hope people check this out. I low-key wish this would have come out in a month like August instead of a really packed month known as June, because almost every week in June has a major film to watch or catch up with. And mainstream audiences, sometimes they're bound to potentially miss some or be overwhelmed by the amount of options. And you know what? Some just fall off the table. And I really hope this isn't the case for this film. But if you are looking for a fun, entertaining time, this is a great option. Again, mindless popcorn fun. I think it's actually really enjoyable. If you've already seen Spider-Verse, you've already seen Little Mermaid, I actually think this is a great option that you should consider just to have fun. So that is my review of Transformers Rise of the Beast. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, you can hit the like button and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. You can follow me on Twitter and on Letterboxd and on TikTok at Leading Mohicans. Thank you again for watching, and remember, regardless of what others feel about the things you love, it is always for the agenda. Bye!